de espuma y de blanca arena, sonrisa de ámbar, cuerpo de palmera, ojitos de plata en tu frente diadema. Por besar tu madre cualquiera se queda.
CCN Centro Cuesta Nacional presents Discover My People, My Country, My Passion. Discover Puerto Plata, Pride of My Land. With an impressive sea of transparent foam and white sands. Springs, rivers and streams in a symphony of silence and serenity. Occasionally interrupted by the drum beats that pounded infinitely in its depths, the province of Puerto Plata was born. Located in the north coast of the Dominican Republic, on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, on the island formerly known as Hispaniola. The sun had not yet risen, and the royal palms had still not stirred, despite the radiance of a gentle sun. One January 1493 morning, the admiral, from his ship, was left speechless at the sight of the magical silvery coronets adorning the slopes of the Isabel de Torres mountain, reflected in a sea full of salt and seashells. In 1502, Nicolas de Ovando, in his royal knight's armor, founded the settlement of Puerto Plata on this site in the name of the Spanish crown. In 1737, it was founded for a second time by 40 families from the Canary Islands, but was destroyed by a devastating fire, a patriotic act of immolation in the country's fight for freedom. Following the triumph of the War of Restoration and the recovery of national dignity, Puerto Plata was founded for a third time in 1865. The port opened to European trade and the railroad was built. It also became the center of the country's political power when President Gregorio Luperón transferred the seat of national government to the city. Thanks to its development and importance, Puerto Plata became a province in 1907. Today, with a population of over 300,000 inhabitants across the whole province, Puerto Plata has 9 municipalities and covers an area of 1,856 square kilometers. San Felipe de Puerto Plata, the provincial capital, nestled at the foot of Loma Isabel de Torres, is the main city on the country's north coast. Altamira, known as Green Diamond for its greenness, its natural riches, and its soil. Altamira has an impressive baseball stadium that was built by the famous son of Altamira, Major League pitcher Bartolo Colon, who donated the sports facility as a demonstration of his affection and his contribution to his community. Imbert is one of the largest municipalities in Puerto Plata province and is identified as the crossroads of history. Luperón is a municipality of important historical relevance as the origin of the Americas. The La Isabela Historical National Park is located there. It was the site of the very first European settlement in the Americas, where the first Mass in the New World was celebrated, and where the first municipal council in the Americas was founded and operated. Los Hidalgos, a municipality known as the Land of the Coral Trees for its forested areas, where these trees grow and blossom with their impressive beauty and vivid colors. Villa Montellano. It is known as Color, Magic, and Amber. It promotes the beauty of the panoramic route along the tourist highway and has the main amber reserves in the country. Sosua, considered a multicultural marine paradise, together with its dynamic municipal district, Cabarete, for being the perfect marine setting for enjoying water sports, for its spectacular beauty, and for being a home to citizens of very diverse origins. Villa Isabela is the Manatee City, where a sanctuary provides a habitat for a countless number of marine animals and birds, including several endangered species. Guananico, the youngest municipality in the province. It is known as To the Rhythm of Water for the importance of the water in its rivers and the pace at which popular music is played and enjoyed. Puerto Plata has a special place in the country's history, as the first defensive sword belonged to General Gregorio Luperón, an illustrious son of Puerto Plata, whose nationalist government made its mark in 1863 by firmly opposing our homeland's return to colonial rule and protectionism. General Luperón made a positive contribution to the development of the province of Puerto Plata in agricultural development, the organization of the army, and education at a national level. More than enough reasons for the people of Puerto Plata to remember and honor his memory with pride. In recent history, Dominican patriots and international volunteers landed in the area of what is now the municipality of Luperón in 1949 to fight against the Trujillo dictatorship. There is also the event of the unequal battle between Trujillo's soldiers and the patriots who disembarked on the glorious beaches of Mamón and Estero Hondo, which are now immortalized in the 1959 June 14th Immortal Race Exploits Memorial Park, commemorating an event that will never be forgotten by the Dominican people. Puerto Plata's economy was based on varied agriculture, especially coffee, cacao, tobacco, and fruit, while a rich livestock sector developed, which was later complemented by a thriving free trade zone. Sugarcane has always played a central role. It arrived on the island and in the Americas for the first time on Admiral Christopher Columbus's second trip, and was planted in La Isabela, Puerto Plata, and has historically been at the center of its economy. Industry has occupied an important space in Puerto Plata's development, with the National Match Factory, the Sanchez Chocolate Factory's agro-industry, and others. The contribution of greatest resonance since its early years was made by the Brugal Rum Distillery Company, founded in 1888 by a Spaniard, Andrés Brugal Montaner, and which became a symbol of this province and of the country's identity. Brugal rums are rated among the best in the Caribbean, the Americas, and the world. In the late 19th century, the port expanded to become the most important in the region, and as a result, the province of Puerto Plata took on an international flavor, combined with the diverse immigration of foreigners, becoming the Caribbean Tower of Babel. During the Second World War, when the Jews were victims of persecution and discrimination, the country offered to welcome them. The hearts of the people of Puerto Plata was their destination, and they arrived filled with optimism for starting a new life full of dreams and hope. The Jews made Sosua their new home. They contributed to raising the spiritual, social, and cultural standards of this province, as well as the growth of the economy, by developing the fertile land and industrialized livestock farming. Home to half of the province's population, the city of Puerto Plata is the center of cultural, political, and economic activities of the government sector, and the industrial dynamism of the private sector is generating a rapid growth and development process in which daily life has its own identity. A number of architectural and artistic expressions emerged at the height of the Golden Age in the urban transformation process. But the most notable is the Victorian style, named after Queen Victoria of England, which became popular in its own particular Caribbean style, becoming part of Puerto Plata's iconic identity. Today, this Victorian style is still evident in a series of homes and houses that make up the historic urban center, and their value is being newly appreciated as the most significant in the country and in the Caribbean. A sample of this heritage is the artistic restoration of the bandstand in the Central or Independence Park, with 2 stories of precious wood, with Moorish-style arches and subtle colors conducive to recreation and rest. Opposite are the restored premises of the Commercial Club, an imposing example of architectural heritage. Nearby, the City Hall and the Provincial Governor's Building are witnesses to characters and events in the history and culture of Puerto Plata. The golden age of splendor and architectural boom is reflected in the Municipal Theater, the fire station, the respectable Restoration Lodge No. 11 in a neoclassical style with arches flanked by handsome Corinthian columns, declared a national architectural monument. A range of institutions have developed in Puerto Plata in all fields of knowledge and philanthropy, including the Commercial Club, the Renewal Cultural Society, which is still active in promoting culture and development through reading. Also, social cultural clubs like the Fe en el Porvenir, Faith in the Future Society, now Casa de la Cultural Center, as well as organizations, foundations, and charitable societies organizing activities for developing and aiding others. The social memory of Puerto Plata's history, its culture, traditions, values, assets, and natural riches are preserved in the Gregorio Luperon House Museum in Puerto Plata, the Guananico Indigenous Museum, and others. Puerto Plata has given the world several notable personalities throughout its history, becoming part of our heritage and an example to emulate. Including Emilio Prudhomme, composer of the Dominican national anthem, historian Emilio Rodriguez de Morizzi, teachers Virginia Elena Ortea and Antera Mota, an opera star, baritone Eduardo Brito, the most glorious singer in all of our country's history. Similarly, a constellation of emblematic personalities who were a shining light for the new Puerto Plata. The San Felipe Fort, completed in 1577, stands as an imposing tourist attraction and educational space in colonial history. A model of military architecture and a symbol of defense against pirates and enemies against whom, together with the traces of the command headquarters, the lighthouse, and the walls that surround it, form the cultural historical complex of La Puntilla, part of our national heritage. The presence of an imposing lighthouse has to be highlighted among these assets. It was built in England in 1879 at the initiative of General Gregorio Luperon. That same year saw the construction of the Guinea Bridge, which remains silently reverent, like an ancestor who is watching over us and protecting us. Daily life in Puerto Plata showcases its spiritual expression and diversity as a colonial inheritance, where its center is still its Catholic Church, now the cathedral. The Catholic faith is alive among the people of Puerto Plata. Their religious testimonies are expressed in all social sectors, like in the procession in honor of Our Lady of Mercy, the country's patron, as well as in other celebrations throughout the year. One expression of popular culture that has transcended all the ages, and it has been kept alive since the late 19th century, is Carnival. What was originally an indoor carnival has spilled out onto the streets with popular mass participation and has received an extraordinary contribution with the presence of local creativity, to the point where it has now become part of the national identity with the emergence of the Taimascaros, the only carnival characters in the country to have recreated the indigenous Taino semi-figures in their masks. Crafts of the popular artistic and creative expression of the people's identity. Taino art figures are recreated in petrified wood, made into stones formed by time, creating an original handicraft unique to the municipality of Imbert, a special souvenir that visitors appreciate. The indigenous people were familiar with amber, a fossilized resin concealed for millions of years in the bowels of the earth. And with it, they made gold-colored jewelry in homage to their sacred virgins. The magic, the mysterious diversity, and the fantasy of Puerto Plata's amber is captivatingly hidden in the Amber Museum, which recreates the past of ancient vegetable resins, emblematic of this region of the country. In historic La Isabela, there is also a line of handicrafts with Taino motifs crafted using the wood of the guayacan tree, endemic to the country and symbolic, dating back to before the arrival of the Spanish. Local residents proudly tell that this is the site of the guayacan tree, under whose shade the first ever Mass was celebrated in the Americas. The accordion, the heart of typical Dominican merengue, arrived in Puerto Plata from Germany. In the Rincon Caliente, typical merengue town in Guananico, all this musical wind instrument secrets were stolen. And creative artisans make conga drums, graters and drums, but also tune accordions by adding a musical note, giving this instrument a very particular lease of life. Guananico is the home of typical merengue, which blazes and burns with passion, thanks to the legacy of the Trejo Peña family, who, like so many other families, have kept up the rhythm with pride, as the people's tradition and an expression of the nation's soul. Dance is inseparable from the people of Puerto Plata. It is a total frenzy, where satisfaction overflows with joy, an invitation to have fun together. Everyone dances everywhere. In the municipality of Imbert, its Baja Bonico folk dance troupe, a group of traditional musicians and dancers, perform the rhythms of machaco, carabine, merengue, guarapo, manguelina, pambiche, and sarambo, a music that springs from the very core and hearts of its people. This traditional Puerto Plata blends with the modern Puerto Plata, with a seafront boulevard, Malecon, that borders the Atlantic with its blue waters and white lace-like transparent foam, with its emblematic Long Beach, protected by the god Neptune, inviting to bohemian nights and the everyday routine of the blazing Caribbean sun. Puerto Plata's nightlife is rich and diverse, where the visitor can enjoy the magic offered by its varied menu of offers. Its nights are happy, fun, and unforgettable. The mid-1970s and the early 80s were when the world rediscovered the province of Puerto Plata on the north coast of the Dominican Republic, the Caribbean's best-kept secret. Puerto Plata, home to the most beautiful beaches and the most stunning sunrises. Thousands of tourists arrived on cruise ships attracted by the warm Atlantic Ocean breezes and the cool, crystal-clear waters, making Puerto Plata the first sun and sea destination developed in the country. The Gregorio Luperón International Airport was inaugurated in 1978 and has modern installations, spacious halls and facilities for providing better services, with a fresh Caribbean architectural style artistically designed to welcome all visitors. And in the very heart of Puerto Plata, the city of San Felipe is protectively watched over by the impressive Isabel de Torres Mountain, where Christ the Redeemer welcomes all visitors with his open arms and blesses the bride of the Atlantic from up high. At over 800 meters above sea level, the mountains of the Isabel de Torres National Park are blanketed in the mist that caresses the sensuous silhouettes of the royal palms on the route of the Puerto Plata cable car, the first of its kind in the Caribbean and unique in the country, providing the visitor with spectacular views. The city with its narrow streets has been transformed into a broad boulevard with the proliferation of modern hotels, a large number of banks, commercial and cultural centers, universities and schools, churches, industries, a free trade zone, the modernization and refitting of the port, responding to the commercial and touristic demands of the international market. The province evolved, and the hotels and residential buildings sprang up at the speed at which the royal palms grow on the roadsides and mountains, in places like Sosua and Cabarete, with their apartments and residential complexes. The 1980s saw the birth of the Playa Dorada, Costambar, and Playa Cofresi tourism complexes, overlooking heavenly sunrises drunk on sun, sea spray, and sun. Touristic and seductive for its many charms, Puerto Plata offers the visitor destinations for fantasy and fun. From the moment of arrival, the tourist has carte blanche with tempting offers for recreation and the most thrilling adventures. The Sosua coastline offers the best natural conditions in the world for water sports like snorkeling and undersea diving. If your sporting preferences include windsurfing, paradise is Cabarete, where you can practice it like in no other place on earth. If you love gliding over waves with your feet on a board, you will enjoy surfing, a legendary water sport that can be practiced on Playa Encuentro, famous for its impressive waves all year round. In order to experience the intensity of a moment of adventure, where you are the main player and excitement is unlimited, you must immerse yourself in kite surfing, where the feeling of the water is at your feet and you find yourself flying in the air as master of your own destiny. In Cabarete, the windsurfing and kiteboarding capital, you can learn any of your favorite water sports at several specialized schools, so you can become the king or queen of the waves. On the north coast of Puerto Plata, in Sosua, Cabarete, and Playa Encuentro, the pros meet every year for the world-famous Master of the Ocean Championship, featuring water sports like surfing, windsurfing, kite surfing, and stand-up paddleboarding. What's more, Cabarete is also the setting for acclaimed laser sailboat competitions, a spectacular sight of sails in the wind. Puerto Plata's beaches are blessed. Only the gods in their most lucid moment could have created them, with golden sands, transparent waters, and sunrises where poetry discovers awe and imagination overtakes fantasy. With its calm, shallow, and crystal clear waters, the beach at Punta Russia invites you to an unforgettable adventure of privacy and memories. But if you prefer to be close to the mountains while swimming in the sea, then you should retreat to enjoy Playa La Ensenada, created in homage to nature and as a tribute to the infinite. In the area surrounding Luperón, a beautiful town that has stood still in time to be admired, is the imposing serenity of the Bahía de Gracia. Adorned by its haven for yachts and sailing boats from all nations, with multicolored flags, which have made it their hideaway. If you like crystal clear, fresh water, the ancient rivers with permanent smiles include the Los Saltos de Hoya Grande, where the water dances before falling onto the rocks to form natural pools. The 27 falls of Damajagua are impressive and enjoyable, with 12 and 13-meter high waterfalls that imitate real transparent curtains, surrounded by emerald green trees hidden in virginal forests. Located in the municipality of Imbert, the Charcos de Damajagua, amidst splendid natural scenery, are invitations for nature lovers to enjoy ecotourism in a truly memorable experience. Swimming spots multiply in the province of Puerto Plata as if they were butterflies. So, we have the La Jolla and Agua Verde swimming areas in Guananico with their crystal clear pools, as well as La Noria in the municipality of Los Hidalgos. Visitors who love and respect nature have the Estero Hondo Marine Mammal Sanctuary in the Villa Isabela municipality, a strictly protected area, as well as the Sacred Manatee Reserve, a haven for an endemic marine species that has lived in our seas since before the arrival of awestruck Spaniards on the caravels of memory. In parallel with the diversity of beaches and rivers, in Puerto Plata, the hills and mountains decorated with trees and flowers, and amaze visitors with their grandeur and majestic beauty. If you want to engage in an idyllic relationship with nature while enjoying an adventure of undiscovered Puerto Plata, it's time to get on a buggy or sail in a freestyle catamaran. Either way, the experience will be unforgettable. The people of Puerto Plata are passionate about sports. For cycling enthusiasts, triathlon-style bicycle races are organized in several areas, including Playa Dorada, to the delight of athletes and everyone who feels up to the challenge and enjoys adventure. The Manatee Club organizes the successful annual National Mountain Bike Championship competition in this province, an intense and enjoyable experience. To hear harmonious birdsong greeting you, or to follow the flight of a rainbow of playful butterflies, you can enjoy a more sedate bicycle ride or choose leisurely horseback rides along routes that guard the stories told by our grandparents. In this picturesque work of nature, there are clear manifestations of our heritage, like the littoral Norte National Park, the Isabel de Torres National Park, and the delightful villages of San Marcos and El Cupe. As well as El Choco National Park. The natural wonders of the mountains and valleys are endless and countless in the province of Puerto Plata, as reflected by the exuberance of the rocky Loma de Nigua area. The panoramic viewing points of Oeda, Calnabo, La Jagua. The route to the Diego de Ocampo Peak and to Las Manacles. Also, the route through Los Hidalgos and its woods and coral tree blossoms, where according to popular lore, single women who tread on the petals will soon get married. The ancient mountains of Puerto Plata conceal traces of human presence from the very distant past. The Cueva de Indios and the Gotera de Altamira bear testament to the presence of the Taino Indians during the pre-Columbian period, as well as the Cueva de las Paredes and in the La Cueva de Indios in La Damajagua. We can also find impressive ecosystems with underwater caves hidden in the El Choco National Park in Cabarete, which are truly natural monuments for the most adventurous divers that are all part of Puerto Plata and the country's natural archaeological heritage. Puerto Plata's tourist attractions are infinite. When the family wants to enjoy an unforgettable experience, the most magical place to visit is Ocean World Adventure Park in Cofresi, a world-class water and marine zoological park, one of the largest in the Caribbean. Ocean World offers natural attractions and special shows where visitors can interact with exotic birds, wild animals, dolphins, sea lions, sharks, and fish. And discover the bay, where you can still sense the presence of the legendary pirate Cofresi. There are other theme parks where visitors can choose to fly through the air on a zip line and continue to enjoy the wide selection of excursions and activities. Although it is outside the geographical limits, Cayo Arena, located on the same shore of Puerto Plata's north coast, is an idyllic desert island with white sands and turquoise blue waters. A must-do excursion for tourists. For golf lovers, Puerto Plata has an impressive golf course in Playa Dorado, where national and international tournaments are played. Gastronomy is a secret for discovering the inner lives of people, to get to know their way of life, of thinking, and of eating. It is interesting to discover what is eaten in Puerto Plata, how food is prepared, and to learn their names as identity. In the community of Llanos de Perez, in the municipality of Imbert, visitors will find the Trapiche de la Piragua, where cane syrup for making candy has been extracted since 1859. The Nunez family has been making these delicious candies with sugarcane syrup and flour for over 100 years. And no one anywhere else in the world has been able to imitate or reproduce them. The abundance of milk in Puerto Plata province means there is a wide range of cheeses: white, cream, mozzarella, and especially Gio cheese, a Dutch-type cheese that was the first to be manufactured in the country by the Heinzen family in the municipality of Imbert since 1929. One of the best cacao crops in the country is cultivated in the moist, fertile soil of Guananico. An ecotourism trail has been created at Hacienda Cufa, an organic cacao ranch, where visitors can learn about the artisanal process of planting cacao and its derivatives, a natural product with a unique taste and quality. Also in El Chocal in Altamira, a group of enterprising women prepare succulent and delicious chocolates that can only be described as Moorish, to the delight of all consumers. They also produce organic cacao wines that lovers of fine wines and good food can drink as an aperitif. There are always surprises for visitors on the lanes and roads, like the tempting roadside stop selling spit-roasted pork, pork rinds and sausages on the route between Guananico and Los Hidalgos. No one can resist stopping and tasting them with closed eyes without uttering a single word. The same thing goes with the small fruit and agricultural product stalls on the stretch of road between Altamira and Imbert, where it's an absolute must to relish the scent and taste of virgin mandarins that still smell of the earth where they were grown. a multicultural gastronomic festival is celebrated every year in the municipality of Sosua, with the aim of showcasing the diversity of the local community's cuisine and with more than 40 nationalities represented. With this culinary offer, visitors can taste what the community calls a little bit of the whole world, which also includes celebrations of cultural activities that take over the people and the streets, leading them to lose track of time and making the nights last forever. The surge of progress is combined with the annual celebration of major artistic, cultural, and social occasions, such as the Merengue Festival in La Puntilla at the end of the Puerto Plata Malecon Seafront Boulevard, the Jazz Festival on an international scale celebrated in Sosua, Cabarete, and Puerto Plata, Playa Dorado's Caribbean Cigar Night, the Cultural Festival, the Provincial Festival, and others, where all the manifestations of Puerto Plata's identity converge. Also, the Restoration Festival, Luperon Week, the Luperon School Festival, the Amapola Fair, as well as interesting visual arts exhibitions, craft displays, and incredible fashion shows, with the market's most demanding runway standards. The hotel sector is also energized by the celebration of Puerto Plata Marketplace, a marketing platform for the North Coast tourist, offer and promotion of its natural, historical, and cultural assets. Puerto Plata is an oasis for investments. Its development process has contributed to a property boom. Puerto Plata also has a great future in cruise ship tourism. Today, leading companies are making large-scale investments in port infrastructure with the construction of a cruise ship terminal that will relaunch this destination with a positive impact on its economy. The identity of the province of Puerto Plata is a treasure. Its diversity, its natural wealth, its historic heritage, its harmonious cultural mix, its valuable architecture, its spirituality, its tasty gastronomy, the folkloric, artistic, popular legacies that it possesses, its smells and its colors, awakening amazing feelings and sensations. Puerto Plata is striding confidently towards a promising future. It has all the conditions for positioning itself as the most outstanding tourist destination in the country and all of the Caribbean. The people of Puerto Plata are open to the world. No one has ever been considered a foreigner. They are models of openness and hospitality. But the most crucial element is their very nature. Spontaneous, hard-working, and happy people who sport the most authentic, generous, and charming smiles in the world. Puerto Plata is the bride of the Atlantic. Puerto Plata is and will continue to be our little silver cup, an icon of Dominican identity. Puerto Plata is pride of my land.
guarda su amor calientico en su jarrito. Me voy pa' el campo a trabajar. Cuando yo llego, vuelvo a colar. Me voy pa' el campo a trabajar. Cuando yo llego, vuelve a colar. Me voy pa' el campo a trabajar. Cuando yo llego, vuelve a colar. Cuando yo llego, vuelve a colar. Cuando yo llego, vuelve a colar. Cuando yo llego, vuelve a colar.